All right, welcome everybody to our first group lesson. I'm Ross, and I'm going to be giving you some lessons today. What we're going to work on initially is kind of our initial grip and setup and everything like that. Make sure everybody's pointing in the right direction, holding the club the right way, and going from there. One of the biggest issues I could say, or most important things to golf, is the setup, and you can fix a lot of problems initially just by having the correct setup. Grip, there's predominantly three main grips. There's the 10-finger grip, or the baseball grip, which you hear about, where all 10 of your fingers are touching the grip at one time. Interlock grip, which is what Tiger uses, and a lot of other PGA Tour players use. This usually works better for people who have a little bit smaller hands. It's just a little bit more comfortable. Or there's the overlap grip, where you hold it with all 5 fingers in your left hand, you take your right hand and you put your pinky over top of your ring finger and your middle finger, just like that. That is for people who have a little bit bigger hands and can get that over and can still hold onto the club comfortably. And this is used by a lot of PGA Tour players, and I'd say 99% of PGA Tour players either have the interlock or the overlap. But that, again, something like this gives you more control, and it allows both your hands to work at the same time. The 10-finger grip, if you hit it funny, your hands can go like this, whereas with these ones, they're the same unit, so they can't twist separately of each other. And a lot of times with people with their setup, their issue is their aim. And the big thing with aim is you want to make sure that not only are your feet pointing in the right directions, but your hips and your shoulders. And so if you set up to your feet straight, but your shoulders are aimed to the left, chances are you're going to hit it left and probably hit a slice, and the same goes if they're pointed the wrong way. So we're going to work on a way to get ourselves set up straight right away every time, and then hopefully have it be repeatable. So if everybody wants to hop into their style, I'll give everybody some golf balls here, and we'll get started. I'll come around and I will check everybody's grip to make sure that everybody has an idea of what they want. Go ahead and grab a 7-iron. For now, that'll be the best. Alright, welcome to lesson 2, everybody. Today we're going to work on some putting and some bunker shots. We're going to start out with the bunker today. Before we get started, we're going to talk a little bit about how you hit out of the bunker and some of the other fundamentals and everything like that. First off, on every wedge is something called bounce, which is this angle right here. If you look at the bottom of your wedge, it's the angle between the front edge and the leading edge. Some of them have a number on it, some of them don't. Like mine, you can see it says 52.8. 8's the bounce. It's 8 degrees of bounce. So that angle is 8 degrees from flat, from zero. What bounce does is it allows you to open up the club, but still keep that leading edge flat. It allows you to, instead of digging into the dirt, it allows you to scoop through it a little bit more, get underneath of it, but still retain the clutch speed. When we hit bunker shots, we're always going to choke down a little bit on the club. It doesn't matter how far. I usually go about an inch or two. Something comfortable, something that allows me to bend my knees and have a pretty athletic stance. It gives me a little bit more control of the club face, because that's really important when you hit a bunker shot, have good control of the club face. We're going to open up the club face and our stance, because as you open up the club face, you have to aim farther left to get the ball to go towards your target. And we're also going to play it a little bit farther forwards in our stance. That way we hit behind it just a little bit instead of hitting the ball first. If we hit the ball first, the ball goes screaming across the green. So we play a little bit farther forwards in our stance. It allows us to hit a little bit higher and a little bit softer as well. Because from a bunker, unlike a lot of other places, you don't want to hit the ball first. It's good to hit the sand. So when we set up to a bunker shot, you want to open your club face up pretty far. It's okay. You kind of want to judge it based on the distance more than anything. But I tend to lay mine about as flat as I can get it. So like that. And then you open up your stance about equal to the club face, if that makes sense to everybody. And when you're hitting from a bunker, you want your swing to be all with your arms. You don't need to use your legs at all. Using your legs is going to cause your club to get off plane. So we're going to use all of just our arms. So our club face is open, our stance is open, we're choked down on the club, and then instead of swinging it back like a normal shot, that's going to create too much width and it's going to be too hard for us to keep the ball going where we want it, keep our club face where we want it. We're going to go like this, and we're going to lift it up and hinge our wrists early like that, and we're going to keep our right elbow close to our side the whole time. So basically what you're doing is you're starting behind it, and you're just lifting it up right to here, and just hinging it right away. just like this, because you want to create as steep of an angle attack as you can, which is going to allow you to take a faster swing and swing a little bit harder, because you're going to have to put some power into it to hit behind it. Here, I'll show you. We'll go through a couple go through a shot or two here. And whenever I hit a bunker shot, obviously in the rules of golf, you can't drop your club in the bunker. For the purposes of practicing, it's perfectly fine. Nobody's going to yell at you for it. I always like to imagine that there's a line about an inch or two behind the ball. And that's the spot I like to aim for, is an inch or two behind the ball. And make sure I swing through all the time. Because if you stop your club head, you're going to dig in and the ball's going to stay in the bunker. If you try not to hit the dirt, you're going to scull it and the ball's going to go flying. So that's why I usually use that line, and that's what I concentrate on, that's what I aim at, and that's what I'm trying to hit when I hit a bunker shot. So we're going to set up to it, we're going to open our stance with the ball a little bit farther forwards, choke down on it, and we're just going to hinge up, and swing all the way through. On the follow through, we want to make sure we don't throw our hands up. We're trying to leave the club face point towards the sky the whole time. That's what's going to allow the ball to stay on the same path it's going on, and that's how you get the backspin that you want to get the ball to stop. So hopefully when it all works, it all goes the right way, but we'll see it going to this first one here to the left. So open stance, open club face, ball towards the front, swing it up and swing down. We're going to work on 50-yard shot. 60% of the shots you take in a round are from inside 100 yards. Most people usually, especially like par 5s, their third shot's somewhere in that 50 to 60 yard range. Most people don't know if they're supposed to take a full swing, a half swing, something like that. They don't know what club to use. Generally from about 50, 60 yards, I like to use a 52 degree or 54 degree wedge. I feel like that gives me a little bit lower ball flight and a little bit more control on where the shot's going. It's easier to control ball that's rolling than one that's in the air. And most people don't have the ability to get enough spin on it to land it next hole and have it stop. When I hit these shots, especially from the fairway, I like to line the ball up off my back foot. I like to line it up off my back foot with my stance a little bit open, which allows me to see basically where I aim with both my eyes. So my feet at about a 45, the ball basically off my right toe, and I'll keep my club face square and choke down just a little bit, just like that. And then to hit it, you're going to take basically a normal backswing. You're going to go to about 9 o'clock, maybe a little bit farther with your golf club. And then instead of releasing the club like this, you really just want to feel like you hold that club face open a little bit, like when you were hitting bunker shots. That helps keep the ball low and get you a little bit more backspin. When you aim, you want to make sure you're aiming with your club face and not with your body, because obviously with an open stance, right now if I was to hit this where I was aimed, it'd be towards the tees over there. So I'm using my club face to aim the shot, and I'm going to swing with my club and not swing along my body. So if I swing along my body, I miss the ball 30 feet right of the green. And nobody wants to hit another shot from there. So instead, I'll use my club face to aim, and I'll swing it right back this way and just let my club follow it. And wherever your club face aims is where the ball is going to go. So if we do it right and we put it all together, it's a little bit far, but it should be something like that. You see how that was a little bit lower there? Welcome to lesson 4, everybody. Today we're going to work on some drivers and some pre-shot routines and a little bit of how to practice at the range so that we can make it worth our while. Because if you go out there and we start hammering balls, we're not going to learn anything, and generally you're just going to get more angry about it than anything else. The biggest thing with practicing is, one, you want to practice with a purpose. You want to have an idea in mind. If your idea is, I want to work on hitting a 10-yard fade today, then that's what you want to work on, is hitting a 10-yard fade. If you want to work on, I'm going to hit 10 drivers in a row that go straight and are off the ground, and I hit in the center of the club face, and that's what you want to work on. If you go and go, I'm just going to hit balls, you're not going to learn anything. It's not going to be useful. The second thing is, you want to practice until you feel like you're not learning anymore. If you start getting frustrated, either stop practicing, don't hit any more golf balls, or take a break and just sit down, drink a pop, drink some water, relax, and let all that bad stuff go. If you want to come over here, you guys can stand right over there in that second round there. driver or any club, I always like to pick a target to aim at. So say I had a wedge from here, I'd aim at that yellow flag. I want to hit my wedge to that yellow flag. Since we got drivers today, I like to create a fairway with the driver. So from here, my fairway today is going to be the trees on the left, and then that blue flag all the way out there. That's going to be my fairway. If my ball lands somewhere in there, I hit it in the fairway. If it's either side of those, my ball's in the water, and I'm hitting 3 off the tee, or out of bounds, or whatever you want to say. And especially with my driver, this is where I like to do my pre-shot routine before I hit it. It really helps calm me down. So if I stand out here and I just start swinging away on drivers, chances are I'm going to hit half of them bad. It's just going to make me mad. So when I hit a driver, I like to, before I even take a practice swing, I'll tee it up, and I like to pick a target somewhere out there that I feel like I want to aim at. If I'm trying to hit this ball in between these 2 fairways here, I'm probably going to aim just to the left of that red flag out there. And for me, a pre-shot routine, you don't have to take a bunch of practice swings or anything like that, because you start taking too many, you can take the wrong practice swing, something like that. All I try and do with my practice swing is just loosen up. If I'm walking or riding from the last green to the next tee, I just like to take a practice swing to loosen up. I don't take anything fast. I just take a smooth swing just to loosen my body back up. And I like to set from behind the ball, 10 feet, however far you want to go. I like to look at my target, and I like to visualize what I think the ball's going to do. Recently, my drivers have been a bit of a fade, so they've been going a little bit from left to right, and that's what I like to visualize my driver doing, going the height I want it and the flight I want. So I'm thinking mid-flight, a little bit of a fade, hopefully land in the middle of the fairway. And once I have kind of that visualized, and that's what I'm confident in, and that's what I'm ready to do, I'll walk into the shot looking at my target the whole time, and then I'll set up to it. And 95% of the time, if you walk into it that way from behind it and walk straight up, you're going to be aimed at your target right away. So if I set my driver down, and I step back and take a look, if you guys want to come back here and look, you can see my driver right now is pretty much pointed just to the left of that red flag, and I stood right behind the ball, walked right in, pretty much just to the left of that red flag. And almost every time, if you walk into it from behind, your body's just naturally going to want to set up so you're in the right way. Especially for you, where you said you have an aiming problem, use your body to set up to it and walk into it. And so once I get set up and once I'm ready to go, I like to take a deep breath, look at my target, so I'll take a deep breath, settle in a little bit, get where I'm comfortable, look at my target once, come back, take another deep breath, and then I'll swing.